Developing language is one of the most important tasks of early childhood, and there are many ways that we as parents can foster our children's development of language. Children between 0 and 6 are absorbing everything in their environment, and their brains are primed for language learning. Humans have an innate desire to communicate. This chart illustrates the typical milestones in language development. If you haven't yet, I invite you to watch the video on stages of language development for an explanation of the major milestones. Beginning at 4 months and continuing through early childhood, children look intently at speaking mouths. This helps them learn to form the sounds for speech and lays the foundation for reading in later years. Therefore, it is important that we look at children when we are speaking to them, and that we are close enough that they can watch our mouths. As a result of the pandemic and mask wearing, infants and toddlers are missing many opportunities to watch people's mouths. So it is even more important that we speak to them at home. We can also help children learn language by enunciating clearly and speaking slowly so that they can hear all of the individual sounds in a word, which also lays the foundation for reading. It is important to minimize excess words so that children can focus on the meaning of our message. Because children are absorbing all of the language they hear, we can model the language that we want children to use. Although we want to avoid using an excessive number of words, we also want to use a variety of words so children can expand their vocabulary. We can build children's vocabulary by narrating what they are doing. For example, if a child is pouring water, we might say, "You are pouring the water from the watering can into the bucket." Children learn through their senses, so providing language to what children are currently experiencing provides a rich language environment. We can also enhance children's language through songs and books. When reading books, it is not necessary to read the entire thing. You may choose to just talk about a picture or two. Or if you come from a culture with a strong oral tradition, telling children stories not only enriches their language development, but also lays a foundation for a strong cultural identity. It's important to acknowledge all attempts at children's communication, even if it's just a coo or a babble from an infant. As children grow older and begin expressing themselves through language around age 1, it is important to acknowledge the message that children are conveying. You can paraphrase what they have said and demonstrate that you are listening, and emphasize that the child has communicated something. You can ask follow-up questions to help your child expand their thought and model the back and forth of the conversation. It is also important to avoid filling in language or speaking for a child who is taking longer to complete a thought. Wait for the child to finish at their own pace. Avoid correcting children's language because it may discourage them from attempting to communicate in the future. Instead, you can model the correct word or phrase through paraphrasing and friendly conversation. Follow Montessori Collective on Facebook and YouTube for more videos and content about child development and how we as parents can foster our children's potential.